Hilary.
Okay.
Hi, Tia.
Nice to see you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay.
Yay! Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
There's just
Brenda, hello.
Yeah, there's
Hello, Hilary. I didn't know if we were allowed to speak.
Oh my goodness, it's so good to hear your voice. How
Yours
fun.
as well. Congratulations again on your book.
Oh, thank
So
you.
happy for you.
I'm following your footsteps of publishing, words. Brenda's a beautiful poet.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Tia. I actually follow you on LinkedIn as well. And whenever I see a post by you, I smile. It's just, it's like an infectious thing you do. So.
Oh, you
That's
just
so
made
fun.
my day. Thank you.
So did you know, Brenda, did you know Tia before?
No, it turns out one of my former colleagues reshared one of her posts. And I read it. I'm like, this is somebody I want to read her post. And it turns out Greta Verhosecki, who is actually, we worked together before DKC. I was the HR manager there, and while she was still there. So that's how I was pseudo introduced to Tia.
Oh, well, Greta, I'm working with Greta right now, actually. She's helping me with Arrive at Happy. So, that's great. And hi, Mary, welcome. Hi, Anna and Jason. And
hi, everyone.
Adirunki, so great to be with all of you. So it's 11:02. This is a 30-minute conversation, and we're gonna get going, and it's recorded, and we'll share with people afterwards. But I'm Tia, and Hilary is co-host. We're co-hosting together, and we met because we both have the same publishing company, and our books are coming out, in the next few weeks. And we both have a hospitality background, and we're both.
So some of you may know each other through our LinkedIn communities.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So
it's a small world.
Mm-hmm.
So Tia was Starwood, I was Marriott Ritz-Carlton, and then Marriott bought Starwood. So there's lots of people crossover, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Hilary's book is all about project management for parents, and mine's about creating happy leaders. And so we really just wanted to have a conversation and hopefully provide some valuable tools for you guys. And I have so much to learn from Hilary, so I'm going to be taking notes as she's talking too. And, Hilary, I want to start off by just saying working parents, there's so much going on right now, in work and in personal life, kids at home, hybrid school, it's just
snow days.
Yeah, exactly. Snow days, live to
which we have today.
Yeah, is so much. So how can we prioritize what to focus on and in life, like work, life, it's all a big blend. So what's your advice on just prioritizing what to do first? And how would you answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, prioritization is an issue for all of us, especially those of, anyone has, we're all busy. Parents especially have been under huge pressure these past 3 years now with the pandemic. Right now, we're kind of entering sort of another hot zone of, our school's going to shut down. We've had three snow days this week. There's just a lot going on for people right now. And I think fundamentally, a lot of us, what I think historically is we sort of set ourselves up for failure, right? In that we just take too much on and we think we can do too much. And we have this convention of, superwoman can do everything. And, it's just a matter of working harder. But the thing I love about project management is that they look at everything under the term of constraints and what are we limited by. And I think that's a game changer, because instead of thinking about, what are all the things I can do? Let's be realistic and think about what are we limited by in terms of, how much time do we have? How much money do we have? What kind of resources do we have? And really start from sort of a more limited perspective and keep in mind how much white space you want to have in your life. And in my book, I cover this on 2 chapters, and I relate it to a stop sign. And the stop sign are sort of the constraints of time. What kind of quality of life do you have? What kind of health limitations do you have? What are your work and school limitations? What do you have to do? And then how do you fill that stop sign with your activities? And how much white space do you want to have for free time And in this situation, we probably need more, right? Because there's a lot of unexpected surprises coming our way, and we have to be able to accommodate those. So I would just recommend that people be really realistic and really start cutting back on what they think they can accomplish, and then bring in as much help as they can. Like, where can you add resources? Like, can you do grocery delivery? Can you have someone help around the house? And really support yourselves in the areas that you don't need to spend time, so that you can spend time on the things that you want to.
Oh my gosh, Hilary, I love this so much. And this, I mean, everything you said is so valuable, but this question for everyone listening to write this down and literally have a Post-it to be thinking, how much white space do you want? Because as North Americans, as type A people, as ambitious people and excited, you always want busy, is we fill up everything. We fill up everything besides sleep. Sleep is the only thing.
Well, we even cut back on that too. Oh, I don't need to sleep,
No. That's opposite of happiness.
Well, that's you. You got to talk to us about that, Tia. Like, how do we take care of ourselves?
Right. But the white space, that is so valuable for 2022 and moving forward.
Yeah, and we keep getting surprises thrown our way, so we just kind of need to protect our time and give us a little more freedom in our schedules to accommodate those things as they come up.
Right.
But I know you're an expert in happiness and taking care of ourselves. So along those lines of, parents are busy, they need to prioritize, but how can we start with, how do we take care of ourselves, like physically, mentally, emotionally, and what tips do you have for us to sort of get through these times?
Yeah, so I always talk about mind-body connection. Everything you do with your body affects your mind, and everything you do with your mind affects your body. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed and anxious, you have to remember you need to do both, what you can do for both. And so I'm glad you said it's sort of the physical, but then also the mental and emotional. So for physical, all of my clients, I talk about minimum. You need 7 hours of sleep. The neuroscience shows you adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. 9, probably not realistic, but going on 5, it's going to catch up to you and it's going to hurt you mentally. So definitely prioritize sleep. Of course, eating healthy food, movement. I try and get at least 4 days a week, 30 minutes a day. And then also to remember, all movement counts. So if you're outside shoveling snow, that counts as movement. It doesn't just have to be, on a Peloton bike. And so give yourself that grace and thinking about that too. And then of course, stretching and meditation. So, and also to physical, I would say as much as you can, get outside. Even if it's cold, get outside. It's really going to help you, even if it's for 15 minutes a day when it is cold and it's freezing where I am right now. In terms of the mental and psychological, be cognizant that we all have a negativity bias. So already our brains want to go more negative than positive. So we have to work extra hard to stay positive and optimistic and bring in more of those happy emotions. So I recommend do not ever turn the news on TV. It makes you feel more negative. Read the news. Also, what else do you want to take in? So whether it's positive books, whether it's humorous movies, whether it's watching TED Talks, what information do you want to bring into your brain? And this is a really good time to also look at your social circle and which people, family members or friends, are sucking your energy out and making you feel more negative, and which ones are making you feel lighter and brighter. And be very intentional with your time and with your white space to spend it with people that make you feel happier. So hopefully those are some tips.
Yeah, I love that balance of recognizing that we have this negativity bias, and how do you sort of want to shore that up with sort of filling it up with positive influences to balance it out.
Yeah.
And then I love your point about physical activity, because people always ask me, oh, what kind of organization system can I use for productivity? And of course there are a ton of things you can do, but for me, a lot of it is if I take a walk in the morning, I'm so much more productive, right? Kind of gets the blood flowing, and I don't know the science behind it. That's more your expertise, but I just have better days when I get out in the morning for a walk.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be long, right? Like sometimes I do a 7-minute workout. 7 minutes, that's all I got. But you know what? Better than zero. So
yeah.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about organization, because I have 2 little kids and, managing all the household. And I love what you said about getting people to help you with time. I have someone that helps me with groceries, because I love what you said about that. But staying organized with everything the school sends, plus their activities, plus everything going on with my husband and I, and my other family members, and then friends, and then my business.
Yeah.
Can you give us some tips that we can use? What's your thought on just helping busy parents stay organized?
Sure. Well, the thing is, I recommend that people may be surprised coming from a project manager is keep it simple. You don't need a computer system to organize your life. Do what works for you. And the trick is you got to put everything in one central location, right? Because the more place it is, the more places you got to check, and the harder it is to track. For families, first and foremost, I recommend a shared calendar. We use an app called Cozy, and we just populate it it's free. You just download it, and it populates our appointments. We also use a paper kitchen calendar, because I like to see certain things visually, so I don't forget them to see them in my phone. So for me, that works. So again, it's centralizing that information in one place, so that you know what's going on, and that the beauty of the app is, I can access it. My husband can add something. I can look it up and see it immediately, even if we're in different locations. The other thing I think is super important is communication. Setting time aside to talk with your spouse, your family members over dinner, or just talk through your schedule so you know what's coming. And then you can put it on that family calendar and just have it there, so everyone knows what's happening. Does anything need to be adjusted? And what's your action plan for that week?
That is what the final thing you said is something I could definitely improve on. So we have a shared calendar, my husband and I, but we could absolutely get better at sitting down on Sundays and let's talk about the next 7 days.
Right.
We'll put things on each other's calendar, but just actually having that communication, I'm sure you do within the corporations that you've worked with, Hilary, of that communication, but it's so important for families too.
Just to touch base, and then involve your kids. Depending on the age of your children, talk to them about what's going on. Involve the family, because the more involved they are, the more sort of buy-in and cooperation you'll get from them in the long run. We tried out for this basketball team for my son, and he ended up not liking it because there was a lot of older kids and it was too difficult. So then we talked about, okay, well, what activity do you want to do? So now we're doing flag football, which he likes, and it's more kids his age. So kind of involve them in the discussion of how the schedule is, and just be cognizant of adding too much or just finding the right balance for you and your family. Because again, I think our tendency is to overload the calendar and too many activities, but just think of, what's the cost of that? Okay, so my child may be in 3 activities and they're learning things, but what's the cost to our family time or just their downtime? And for my son, he just needs downtime after school. He just gets stressed out if he's got too much going on right after school. He just needs to come home and decompress. So, every kid is different, but just be cognizant of people's different needs, and then your own individual needs, even if you don't have kids, what's the best schedule for you, and what amount of, sort of quiet time do you need, or exercise time, and note that in your schedule, and just sort of, keep an audit of your head. Is this working for me? Is this not working for me? And tweak it as you need to, because it's never going to be perfect, right?
Right.
So you kind of have to have these ongoing changes, and especially in this middle of this pandemic, as we've learned, things change really quickly.
Yeah.
So what changes do we need to make midstream to make it work?
This is so great, because the whole point of this talk is about new year, fresh start. And I think that's another, like you were saying about how much white space do you want? How much downtime do we want as a family? That is really, really, and it's in a way, it's sort of a lost art of, when my kids are I'm bored, I'm thank goodness you're bored. You're never bored. You should be bored more.
It's good for
right?
you.
Of having, there's so much stuff. I'm so just downtime for everyone to rest and recharge, and resting completely connects to happiness and well-being, of letting, I loved something Adam Grant, I think it was Adam Grant, one of them recently posted, it was a different doctor, but about this idea of active relaxation.
Oh.
So active relaxation, like playing cards or reading or gardening.
And it's not like watching TV or like
not watching TV where you're kind of active, but it's like a relaxing activity. And it inspired me. My husband and I have been playing crazy eights recently, like playing cards. And it's kind of, not intellectual, but it's relaxing. But
we play Uno all the time. It's super fun.
Yeah. So this idea of active, thinking about that white space. I love it. So good.
And Tia, I know you talk about in your book, to go back to like the productivity and piece, you talk about executing brilliantly, which really like piqued my interest. So I was wondering if you could talk more about that.
Yes. So I have this 8-step methodology in my book, Be a Happy Leader. And executing brilliantly is really a step and a skill and a strategy that I honed when I was director of sales and marketing at a hotel in LA and had a toddler and a baby. And I did not have the luxury of working all the time. I had to stop working at 5 p.m. to go home and be a mom. I mean, I had to and I wanted to, right? Both. Some days wanted to, some days didn't. Anyway. And so this idea was, okay, I only have a certain amount of time. I could only be at the hotel from 8:30 till 5. That's it. So I needed to be really, really, really efficient. And so I'm going to give a couple. I talk about the benefit of speed. So of course if you don't want to go too fast and then you make mistakes and miss things, but one of the skills that I honed was move fast. So depending on what I was working on or what, I think my decision making became quicker. We'd be in a meeting. I shortened meetings. It was like, it doesn't need to be an hour. Let's all get together with, of course, nice hellos, but then, let's move quick. Let's have this be 20 minutes. Doesn't need to be 30 minutes of just like moving things quicker. And that really helps execute brilliantly. I always think about quick planning also. So again, this execute brilliantly, moving fast is when there's a challenge, when something comes up at work, is get the people together that need to fix the problem together, and then do a brainstorm, come up with all these ideas, make decisions about who's going to do what, have a really simple plan, and then go. Kind of like what you said about actually organizing at home, don't overcomplicate things. Have a simple plan and move really quickly. A key.
And then one thing that I like to think about is I'm a recovering perfectionist, So like give up on the perfectionism, right?
Yes.
It doesn't have to be perfect, just like get it moving.
Yes.
Work towards progress. And it hangs me up in house cleaning and lots of other things. I'm just like, just get it done. It's okay, and keep moving forward.
Yes. I think that is such a brilliant point, that when you accept that nothing is perfect and you do your best and go and you're going to learn along the way, and you're going to get better along the way. Right. A really key aspect that I learned during this period of my life, and I've kept also, is sending way less emails. So this is especially important if you're in a company, because when you're in an organization, you get so many emails from you, BCC'd, seed, all the whatever. I learned, just send less emails and your life is going to be so much better. So pick up the phone, or do a quick text message, because I found that email is a massive time suck. And to execute brilliantly on what you want to do with your business, or execute brilliantly on what you want to do, in your job, you need time to work on projects or be with clients or whatever. Answering emails is reactive. And so be very intentional. And when I was really intentional about this, and every day I was like, I'm not going to send very many emails. Guess what happens? You get way less. And when you get way less, you get so much of your time back.
That's brilliant.
Which changed my life.
Because Brenda, you know how many emails we would get.
Yeah. And then I'll say one more. There's a few other but I'll say one more is about boundaries. So, and I talked about this with my clients too, is if you think about your job and you have, it's January of 2023, it's a year from now. What are your big 3 goals? What do you want to accomplish? Your big 3 things. And then when people come to you, like your boss or peers, or when it come to you and say, I need you to do this. Can you work on this project? We need you to do. You say, I'm going to excel. I'm going to beat this goal. Like I am very zoned in. And it allows you to say no, not in a jerk way, but to say no because I'm focused and these are my priorities. And you actually create boundaries with people, and they can't disagree with you if you say, I'm going to beat this goal. I got to focus on it. So that was something, it was a way that I learned to say no to a lot of people.
Yeah. And that's so important, because otherwise our stop sign blows up because, or we blow through the stop sign because we're doing too much and we can't make it happen. So protect that time.
Yeah. So tied into this, what's your advice for delegating, distributing work, or in the household? There's a lot of things for managing a household to either family members like your spouse or kids or roommate, or to people on your team. Can you talk to us about distributing workload? Sure. I know you have a lot about this in your book.
Well, first of all, you need to know what the work is, right? And the best way to get people to sort of cooperate or help is to involve them in the process. So involve people early, have a conversation with everyone involved, and just be like, hey, like I do this on my project teams at work. We have our meetings and we talk about everyone, okay, what are all the different things that need to happen in this project? And at home, you can sit down over dinner and say, okay, what are all the things that need to happen at home? And some of us may not be aware of certain things that need to happen. Like, oh, my husband always waters the plants, but I never think about that. And yes, that needs to be done. Or, it takes, 5 steps to do the grocery shopping and they think it's just 1 step. So talk honestly about all the work that needs to be done. And then I recommend dividing up first by preference or skill set. Like I cook, my husband does not cook, he does the dishes. So that's a natural way. I wouldn't want him to cook, So it's like a natural way to just divide stuff up, and it's also more efficient, right? So first go that way. And then depending on the age of your kids, so same thing as at work, like you assign work by people's skill sets, right? But I think the key to success is you got to involve people, ask their opinion, get their input, because then they'll have more input into it, and they'll want to make it happen, right? And they feel respected as part of the process, and they're aware, right? Because a lot of it is awareness. Some of it, like my husband may not be aware that I'm doing this, but it still needs to get done. Right. So that's that part. So talk about it, and then distribute it by skill set, and then the rest of it, try to make it fun. Like put them in a bowl and like pick out what they want to work on. Or as my son's gotten older, he's been able to take on more chores. So today we had him shoveling the front drive and cleaning off the cars. So, but that we paid him for just to motivate him. So try to make it fun, go by skill set, divide it up, and then adjust as necessary. Like, my husband and I had a conversation last night. I was like, how are my books launching next week? I got a ton to do. I've got these courses to develop. He's like, okay, well, let's figure out, he's like, okay, I can help supervise Jacob after school more. So we kind of ebb and flow depending on what's going on. And it's the same thing at work. Like after you distribute the work, that team member may have another priority pop up, and have that conversation with them. Is there someone else we can bring in? And it's all like a seesaw, right? So this is your seesaw, and you can either add things to help you, or you can decrease the work. So you got to think about, what can I take away or what can I add? So at home, that can be meal delivery, grocery delivery, housekeepers, landscapers, etc. At work, you bring in more team members to help with that workload. Or at work, I'm a project manager. We're like, oh, we'll launch that in phase 2 of the project, right? It's not going to make it in phase 1. We just push it down, kick it down the road, and we decrease that work for now. Right. So either decrease the work or you add resources to help if you're having trouble getting it done. Yeah,
I love that, because I think we don't always think about the seesaw and both, and there's a magazine I love. I don't know if you read it, but it's called Real Simple. And it's just a lot of things of like, just simplify a lot of times, because we continue to add. Of course, I think my kids are a little younger than yours, but I probably underestimate how much they can do. They help, but they probably could be helping more, which would make life smoother. And the research shows that, of course, kids helping and choice helping, it's great for them. So
and they like it. Like my son really loves the independence, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I noticed we have like 5 minutes left. So I want to ask you, what is something about happiness that you think that everyone should know?
Oh, there's a lot. I'll think. So something about happiness that I think everyone should know is this idea of emotional well-being and emotional acceptance. And I wish I learned about emotional well-being when I was 16 and not 37. So this idea that there are 80 plus feel-good positive emotions, and there are another 80 or so painful, unpleasant emotions. And a happy life is not one that's void of pain. There's no such thing as being happy all the time. I'm a happiness expert. I'm a pretty positive person. I have horrible days too, and weeks, and challenging periods. So realize that we have both. The goal is you want to have more of the pleasant than the painful, of course. But a key to happiness is having a really healthy relationship with those painful emotions. So, for example, one, a lot of people are feeling with is anxiety, or maybe, you're a working mom, maybe guilt, etc. So, what you want to do is, instead of being mad at yourself and feeling like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling anxious, that's bad, and then trying to push it away, you actually want to be open to that anxiety or be open to that guilt and actually look at it as, okay, what's this emotion trying to teach me? What am I, because emotions are indicators. It's communicating something to us. There's something that's going on. And so when I stopped looking at, for example, my working mom guilt or my not working enough guilt and just saw it as, okay, this is telling me something. It's a messenger, and I'm not going to feel bad that I have it. I'm going to open the door and kind of look into it and be accepting of it. Oh my goodness, my happiness increased so much. And I've just had this, awareness and this acceptance that this is the human experience. There's ups and downs. And so I think that's really crucial, especially for busy working parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And just to recognize that, bad emotions aren't bad. They're just emotions, and they're telling us something, right? They're there for a reason, and we just need to figure out why. And yeah.
And even just that, like the language, like saying bad emotions or negative emotions, we think that they're bad. They're actually not. They're just painful. They're uncomfortable, but they're not bad. They're not, negative to us, because they're there for a reason. So yeah, I think that's a key part of happiness and a key part of resilience, really. Yeah. So Hilary, some lucky person is going to be winning a copy of both of our books, and we'll be emailing the winner. We've recorded this whole session. So if you have a friend or family member that you think would want to listen, please let Hilary and I know. Hilary, tell the best website to everyone to go and learn more about this book and your work.
Sure. It's projectmanagementforparents.com. And there's like tools, chore charts, organization tips, videos to get you started.
Oh my gosh, every family needs this book. I've been telling all my friends. So please go there and grab it. Yeah. And for mine, for Be a Happy Leader, you can go to happyleaderbook.com. Yeah, we wish you guys an amazing 2022. Please contact Hilary or I if you need anything else. But we're so glad that you came today.